So today we are going to start the first unit of biology, that is basic biology. Now the word basic means the most fundamental concept which is included in biology. Now as you all know, the study of biology is related to the study of living organisms and their interaction with their surrounding. Now the body of living organism is made up of cells. Okay, so we are going to discuss about cell and tissue in this unit. Okay, I can tell that this is the basic concept in biology because every organism is ultimately made up of cells. Either the organism is unicellular, it means the body of organism is made up of single cell, or the organism is multicellular, where the body is made up of more than one cell. So in all organisms, the whole structure and the whole activity of an organism is ultimately the activity of cell. Okay, so ultimately the most fundamental concept in biology is the concept of cell. So we will discuss about cell and its constituents in this unit. Also, a group of cells having similar structure and function form a tissue. Okay, so after studying about cells, we will study about tissue, because our body is composed of different type of tissue. In the same way, the body of any organism, either we talk about plants or animals or even microorganisms, the body of every type of organism is formed of different types of cells, and in higher organisms there are group of cells which collectively form a tissue, and tissue form organ and then organ system and the whole organism. So two things are included in this unit. The first thing is cell and the second thing is tissue. These are two topics which are included in this unit. Okay, so we can deal them in two different chapters. This is our first chapter and this is our second chapter. Okay, now what is cell? As I have mentioned today, that cell is the basic unit of life. That is, cell is the smallest unit of structure and function of life. It means cell is the smallest thing by which the whole body of an organism is made up of. Okay, either the organism is unicellular or multicellular, either the organism is lower organism or higher organism, either the organism is plant or animal or of any type. The body of organism is ultimately made up of different types of cells, or we can say cells unite together to form the body of organism. As for example, my body consists of a numerous cells. A large number of cells collectively form this whole structure. So we can say the smallest unit of the structure is cell. As for example, if we take the example of any building, that whole building is made up of bricks. The brick is the smallest unit which unite together in several patterns and ultimately form the building. In the same way, the body of an organism is ultimately formed by cells, by union of different cells. So we can say that cell is the smallest structure of an organism. Second thing, whatever function is performed by an organism is ultimately the activity of the cell. As for example, I am able to move this hand. This movement is only because the cells of my muscles are able to contract and relax. It means the muscle cells are ultimately making me able to move my hands. Okay? Similarly, the process of digestion of food, the process of reproduction, the process of excretion, all different types of activities which are performed by an organism is ultimately the activity of cell, because an organism requires nutrients. In the same way, cell also requires nutrients. So anything which is performed by an organism is ultimately the activity of that particular cell. Okay, so let us first define the term cell. Cell is the smallest unit of structure and function of an organism. Okay, now smallest unit of structure means the whole body of an organism is formed by union of cells. Okay, and smallest unit of function, what does it mean? Smallest unit of function means any function which is performed by an organism is ultimately the activity of cell. As for example, organism undergo digestion, respiration, excretion. All these functions are also performed by cells. Cells also undergo digestion of nutrients. As for example, our cell uses glucose to produce energy, and the process of production of energy in cell is cellular respiration. After different types of chemical reactions inside the cell, different types of products are formed which are useful. At the same time, some other products are formed which are harmful for a cell. So that product which are harmful are eliminated from the cell. They are eliminated outside the cell. And that process of eliminating harmful substance out of the cell is known as excretion. So every process which is performed by an organism is ultimately the function performed by the cell. As for example, I have given the example of movement of my body part. This movement is facilitated by the cells of muscles. Okay, I am able to speak. This process is related to the movement of lower jaw, which is facilitated by the muscles which are attached to the lower jaw. Also, my vocal cord is working and it is also made up of cell. I am able to see any object. This process is related to the image formation, and that image which is formed in the retina of our eyes is ultimately processed by our brain. So the function of observing anything is ultimately related to the cell. There are many more functions which can be correlated to the function of cell. Okay, so sometime it is asked in exam, how can you verify that cell is the smallest unit of structure and function of organism? This type of question is generally asked in exam. How can you verify that cell is the smallest unit of structure and function of organism? Then you will have to explain the fact in this way. You can tell that cell is the smallest structure because the overall structure of an organism is made up of different cells. It means different types of cells or different cells unite together to form the structure. Second thing, whatever function is performed by an organism is ultimately the activity of the cell. Okay, so I have described here just for your convenience. Okay, now discovery of cell. Who discovered cell? You all know it very well because you have studied it in earlier classes. I hope you have learnt about this from class 6 or 7. So you all know Robert Hooke discovered cell in 1665. Robert Hooke discovered cell in 1665. In biology, you should have a good habit of knowing about different scientists and their contribution, because it has two advantages. First thing is that it makes your study interesting. It makes your study interesting. This is first thing. And second advantage is that it creates interest in biology, so that you will try to think like a scientist, or I can tell you will try to understand the fact rather than memorizing the fact. Okay, you will try to correlate the facts. Okay, the discovery and the inventions in science are very important because they motivate us to think like a scientist. You will have a scientific temperament while learning the subject. Okay, you cannot learn science in the way of history. You cannot learn science in the way of languages like English, Hindi, Sanskrit, etc. You must have a scientific temperament. That is, you must have a tendency to learn biology in the way it is learned. Okay, now when he discovered cell, he discovered it by observing a thin slice of cork. He observed a thin slice of cork, and there he found the structure similar to compartments. He found that when he viewed in microscope, compound microscope, he observed that there are many compartment-like structures. And these compartment-like structures were very small. So very small compartments. Robert Hooke observed a thin slice of cork. Okay, a sheet of cork that is like rubber like structure. He observed it in the compound microscope and he saw that there are several very small compartments, and he named these compartments cella. It is a Latin word which means very small compartments. It is a Latin word which means very small compartments. Later on, this word was modified as cell. Okay? Now, second thing is that Robert Hooke did not study the structure of these compartments in detail. Actually, he saw a dead cell. The cells which were dead. There was nothing metabolic activities occurring inside the cell. The cell were not living cells. They were dead cells. So he viewed them and he saw them like compartments. On the basis of his observation, he named them cella, and this word later on modified as cell. Okay? Now, after about 300 years, of this discovery, many scientists carried out different attempts to understand the structure of cells, and finally we were able to understand the components of cell. What are the chief components of cell, or we can say how we can define the structure of cell. That is, what is cell made up of, what is protoplasm, what is cytoplasm, what is nucleus, what is mitochondria, what is chloroplast, what is endoplasmic reticulum. These questions were ultimately answered in about 300 years. So, whatever knowledge which we have till now about the cell is ultimately a collective effort of different scientists. The knowledge which we have about the cell is not directly proposed by any one of the scientists. Different scientists have different contribution in explaining the structure of cell. As for example, some scientists have given information about mitochondria, while some have given about nucleus, some have given about the metabolic activities or chemical reactions which takes place in the cytoplasm. So different scientists have different contribution in cytology, which is the study of cell. Cytology. This is the study of cell, the branch of biology in which we study the structure and function of cell. That is, what is cell made up of and what are the functions of different organelles, or we can say different parts of the cell. That is studied in the branch which is called cytology. So every concept which is included in the cytology is not contributed by a single scientist. Different scientists have contributed different facts about the cell. Okay? And after that, we have ultimately formed a cell theory in which we have some facts about the cell. Okay? But one more thing I would like to mention here. Robert Hooke discovered cell with the help of compound microscope. You must have seen compound microscope, which is almost like this. You must have seen somewhat like this. I am just drawing a rough structure here. Okay, and here is a lens. You must have used it. This is eyepiece and this is objective, and here we place a slide and we are able to see. So Robert Hooke observed this compartment in compound microscope. Compound microscope means there are two lenses. one is eyepiece and the other is objective. When two lenses are used in a microscope, then such a microscope is called compound microscope. Now, the discovery of microscope, or we can say invention, actually not discovery, invention of microscope was first of all Antony von Leeuwenhoek. Antony von Leeuwenhoek, he was the first person to invent a simple microscope in which there was only one lens. There was only one lens. So he is the inventor of simple microscope. He invented simple microscope, Antony van Leeuwenhoek. And I don't know whether it is 100% correct or not, but in many books it has been mentioned that he had made about 400 microscope having different power, having different focal length of the lens. Another type of microscope, that is compound microscope. This compound microscope was invented by Hans and Zacharias. Hans and Zacharias invented compound microscope. And the most important, which is used nowadays, that microscope is electron volt microscope. And this microscope is the most sensitive microscope. With the help of this microscope, we can see minute objects which are of the micrometer dimension, means 10 to the power minus 6 meter. Very small objects can also be viewed with the help of electron volt microscope. Actually, this microscope is based on electron beam. This is modern type of microscope, and this was invented by M. Knoll and E. Ruska. M. Knoll and E. Ruska. These were two scientists who invented electron volt microscope. And this is very important question. This is generally asked in exam. Who invented electron volt microscope? M. Knoll and E. Ruska. Who invented compound microscope? Hans and Zacharias. Who invented simple microscope? Antony van Leeuwenhoek. Antony van Leeuwenhoek is also known for the discovery of bacteria and sperm cell. He also invented, he invented simple microscope. He also discovered bacteria in 1674 and sperm cell in 1678. These two things were discovered by Antony van Leeuwenhoek. So, we have concluded some important facts. What is cell? Cell is the smallest unit of structure and function of organism. Who discovered cell? Robert Hooke discovered cell in 1665. In which material he discovered cell? In cork. In a thin slice of cork, thin sheet of cork, he discovered a cell. He observed dead cells, so he saw them like compartments, and therefore he named them cella. Cella is a Latin word which means very small compartment. Later on, this word cella was modified to cell. After 300 years, or we can say it is approximate data, not exact data, about 300 years, it would be better. In about 300 years, we were able to accumulate different information regarding the structure and functions of cell. Okay? So, that informations were collectively included in the branch of biology known as cytology, where we study the structure and function of cell. Okay, now the instrument which is used to see cell is the microscope. About microscope, we have known three facts. Simple microscope was invented by Antony van Leeuwenhoek. Compound microscope was invented by Hans and Zacharias. And electron volt microscope, which is the most recent type of microscope, which is most widely used in scientific experiments. This microscope was invented by M. Knoll and E. Ruska. This is very important. This is very important for examination. This is and Robert Hooke, who discovered cell and the definition of cell. These three things are very important in my today lectures. Okay, so I hope these three things will be considered by you. And one more thing, how can you explain that cell is the smallest unit of structure and function of organism? Okay, now after this topic we will discuss about the cell theory. Cell theory. This theory was proposed by Sladen and Schwann. They concluded some facts about the cell which is similar in all type of cells. Okay, Sladen was a botanist. He proposed his theory on the basis of experiments on plants, whereas Schwann was a zoologist. He used to carry out experiment on animals. So Sladen and Schwann collectively gave a cell theory, and this theory is very simple theory. This includes some basic facts which are similar to all cells. It means the important facts about the cell which is common in plant cell as well as animal cell. Okay, so we will read it about in our next class. Okay.